From Michael Jordan winning his first championship after his father's death to the NBA world's reaction to Kobe Bryant's untimely passing, these are the NBA's most heartbreaking moments. Losing your father is painful no matter what, but winning a championship he would have loved on Father's Day? Yeah, I can only imagine what MJ went through. Michael Jordan's championship. Following his father's death, it was one of the saddest things to happen in the league. His docuseries, The Last Dance, came on when the 2020 NBA season got hit with the coronavirus pandemic and went on an unexpected break. It was all about Michael Jordan's final season with the Chicago Bulls, but they also sprinkled in some juicy highlights from his legendary career. You know, one of the real tear-jerking moments they covered was when Michael's dad passed away back in 1993. His father, James Jordan, tragically died while sleeping in his car. Thankfully, the culprits got a life sentence. But one of them found a sneaky loophole and was released on parole in 2023. In '96, the Chicago Bulls clinched their fourth national championship, and boy did MJ get emotional. He let it all out, and it was one of the most touching moments in NBA history. It was Father's Day in 2006, and the Bulls rocked a Game 6 victory against the Seattle Supersonics, nabbing their fourth title in just 6 years. Everyone was crying happy tears, but Michael's raw emotion stole the show. He couldn't hold back the floodgates, man. The championship was bittersweet because it was the first one without his dad by his side. Jordan collapsed on the court and again in the locker room. He's a champ inside and out. After regaining his composure, he faced the reporters and shared how much this win meant to him and his late father. He dedicated it all to his dad, saying, "This one is for Daddy." Such a heartfelt moment that showed the love between a father and son, and the NBA is no stranger to heartfelt emotions. Isaiah Austin's draft selection was proof enough of that. Remember that awesome moment in the 2014 NBA draft when they honored Isaiah Austin, the former Baylor star? It was seriously touching. He had Marfan syndrome and had to give up his dream of being a pro basketball player, which totally stinks, right? But the NBA did something really cool. Commissioner Adam Silver called him up on stage during the draft, and the whole crowd went nuts with a standing ovation. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that gives you the warm fuzzies, right? The NBA's Instagram account even shared a video of the moment. It felt like a feel-good movie in real life. And superstar Kevin Durant himself gave props to Commissioner Silver for making it happen. But you know what? It wasn't just the NBA and the commissioner making magic that night. Austin totally stole the show. Despite the heartbreaking news about not being able to play in the NBA, he handled it like a champ, with grace, positivity, and pure awesomeness. Seriously, people like Campus Insider's Bonnie Bernstein and SI's Chris Mannix couldn't help but praise the whole thing. And we get it. That moment was about more than basketball. It was about celebrating an incredible person. While the next story, although it may not be as touching, when a player surpasses his limits and makes his team proud, it's bound to be a tearjerker. Kevin Garnett's "anything is possible" should be a motto for all players out there. The basketball legend was a hoop superstar for 21 years in the NBA, starting right out of high school with the Minnesota Timberwolves back in 1995. During his time in the league, KG played for 3 different teams, but he had a real soft spot for Minnesota, where he began and ended his journey. He also rocked the courts in Brooklyn and Boston in between. And it was with the Celtics that he clinched the national championship. And that's when he famously yelled, "Anything is possible," after beating the LA Lakers. You know, Garnett was a stat machine too. While with the Nets in 2013, he became only the 10th player to nab over 14,000 career rebounds and the 3rd player ever to hit the insane milestone of 25,000 points, 14,000 rebounds, and 5,000 assists. And in 2015, Garnett joined a super exclusive club as one of only 5 players to have played at least 50,000 minutes on the court. Garnett surpassed Jason Kidd for 3rd place on the career minutes list, and just 10 days later, he bulldozed past Malone to become the all-time leader in defensive rebounds. But like all great stories, there comes a time to say goodbye. In September 2016, KG announced his retirement from the NBA. But he stayed connected to the game, becoming a TV analyst and lending his expertise to both the Clippers and the Bucks. It's pretty sad to see players leave the league, which is why Dirk Nowitzki's retirement from the NBA was a somber moment. It's become pretty normal for different teams to give a big shout out to players when they retire, especially if they've been rocking it with that team. When Nowitzki hung up his sneakers in 2019, oh boy, the love was pouring in from teams all over the league. But let me tell you, the tearjerker of all tributes happened right there in his hometown, Dallas. Back in '98, Nowitzki was plucked all the way from Germany to join the Dallas Mavericks, and he stuck with them through thick and thin, like forever. He took them to the NBA playoffs 15 times. And can you believe it? He even brought them to their very first finals in 2006 and secured their one and only championship in 2011. That's some serious game-changing mojo. Nowitzki wasn't just a baller on the court, he was like the Swiss Army knife of basketball with his mad skills. Plus, off the court, he was all about compassion and kindness, earning him extra brownie points with fans and players alike. Man, what a legend. No wonder the whole NBA came together to give this guy the farewell of a lifetime. The emotions were off the charts in Dallas as they said goodbye to their hometown hero. And the league's goodbyes are just as emotional as their welcomes. When Allen Iverson returned to Philadelphia, his welcome was a sight to see. Iverson rocked the basketball world for 11 years, from 1996 to 2011. You know what's even cooler? He was the top pick in the 1996 NBA draft by the Philadelphia 76ers. A whole decade with the 76ers, but Iverson wasn't just a one-team guy. He went on a basketball adventure, playing for the Denver Nuggets, Detroit Pistons, and Memphis Grizzlies over 3 action-packed years, but Philly simply adored him. The city couldn't get enough of Iverson's awesomeness. They loved him so much that even when he was on the opposing team's tour of town, he'd still get thunderous standing ovations from the crowd. It's like the fans had Iverson fever, and they couldn't resist showing their love no matter what. And let's not forget the ultimate homecoming. In 2009, he returned to the 76ers, and it was nothing short of magical. The fans welcomed him back with open arms, cheers, and happy tears. His first game at home after his comeback was pure emotion overload. You could say it was a roller coaster of emotions, and the NBA history books have a special chapter dedicated to that moment. But not all homecomings are as warm. Vince Carter returned to Toronto, and let's just say he didn't receive a very warm welcome. Carter's big comeback to Toronto, this time as a rival player, unlike Iverson, who got a warm reception, Carter got the opposite treatment. I mean, they didn't exactly roll out the red carpet for him. Nope. Instead, they greeted him with some epic booing every time his name was announced and whenever he touched that ball. But guess what? Carter didn't let that faze him. Oh no! He totally shut down the haters by smashing his personal records and delivering an epic buzzer-beater victory. But you know what's even cooler? After some time, things changed for the better. When the Raptors hit their 20-year milestone, they buried the hatchet. Carter was honored during halftime, and you won't believe what happened next. After 10 long years of boos, the fans finally cheered for their former star player. And let me tell you, Carter is a true NBA legend. He's the only player in history to play in 4 different decades. Plus, he holds a whole bunch of records for the Toronto Raptors. Talk about a basketball beast. And if we're mentioning legends, would this list really be complete without our Black Mamba? One of the saddest moments in the NBA world was the reaction to Kobe Bryant's death. The heartbreaking and tragic loss of Kobe Bryant, his daughter Gianna, and 7 others in a helicopter crash hit us right in the feels. It set the tone for the whole crazy roller coaster of a year that was 2020. From great losses to the coronavirus, life turned upside down worldwide. Remember how the Staples Center turned into a massive gathering spot for fans to grieve and remember Kobe? It was like a sea of memorabilia and love. Vanessa Bryant later packed up all those heartfelt items for her and the kids to cherish. Can you imagine the emotions tied to each one of those things? And the internet was flooded with love and sadness. NBA players, past and present, celebrities, fans, and basically everyone just poured their hearts out on social media, showing their support for Vanessa and the girls. Everyone couldn't help but pay their respects to Kobe in their own words. But there's one thing that's just hard to forget, no matter how much time passes. That first Lakers game after Kobe's passing. Oh boy, get ready for the waterworks. The pregame memorial was such an emotional roller coaster that tears were inevitable. It's like watching that with dry eyes was mission impossible. So there you have it, guys. From the NBA world's reaction to Kobe Bryant's untimely passing to Michael Jordan, winning his first championship after his father's death, those were the NBA's most heartbreaking moments.